Hey there, welcome to the channel. So today it looks like Russia is cutting off more of the gas flow to Europe. Okay, so here we are reported from AP. Russian energy giant Gazprom said Monday that it would further reduce natural gas flows through a major pipeline to Europe to 20%. Oh my gosh, look at that. And they're saying that the daily output, blah, 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 saying it was shutting down a turbine for repairs. The head of Germany's network regulator, Klaus Müller, confirmed that the flow was expected to be cut in half. Deliveries were 40% of capacity after Nord Stream was reopened last week. The German government said it rejected the notion that for technical reasons would lead to further gas reductions. Okay, so let's go take a look at the UNG gas price here. Yeah, so we can see natural gas, at least even on the US side, is just continuing to press up here to this recent high. So that's kind of what it's doing. So going back to what's going on here. So it was interesting that, um, really, my thoughts on this are, we have this issue of, we have a war going on, right? We have a war going on between Russia and Ukraine, and we have a proxy war going on between Russia and the entire West. And the fundamental issue here is that, well, do these turbines really need maintenance? So I was watching Alex Christopher today, and he's talking about, and I could not find it, so I can't confirm, but what he's saying is, and what my understanding is, that there's other turbines that need repair. There could be up to 5 or 6 other turbines that may need repair in recent time. So the question's really going to be, so now you kind of see the setup here, right? You can see what's happening is, when you look at your natural gas, what's happening is that during the summer months, typically you're storing that natural gas. So most countries, US has huge storage, Europe has storage, and what you're doing is you're taking your flows of natural gas and you're storing those up so that when you come to the winter, you have more demand than supply usually. And what you do is you pull that natural gas out of storage. So it's critical. That's why there's so much talk about what's happening now with the natural gas reduced flows and the cutoff of natural gas to Europe, because now is the issue. If you don't store that gas now, come winter, you're literally not going to have gas. So now we can kind of see, I think, see the play here. And so the reality is, there's now, we just enter the realm of speculation. So let's put our Putin is evil hat on, right? And so then if we put that hat on, what do we have? We have, hey, look, this guy, and notice how they're talking about other turbines may need maintenance, et cetera. So what are they doing? They're setting up that, hey, so they take this, they took one turbine offline, they shut it off for 2 weeks. Okay, they finally get that turbine back, repaired, they bring it up to 40%. Oh, there's another turbine that needs repair. So we got to reduce it to half of that. So they're at 20% flows. Oh, by the way, there might be other turbines that need maintenance too. So this could drag on all year, right? This can drag on the entire summer. So now you can see, if you look at it that way, is it may, you can now speculate that, hey, the intention is that Russia is never going to turn the gas flow on full this whole summer, this whole period of time. They're never going to turn it on back full. And this is going to give them huge, huge leverage come winter. Come winter, their stage three is, it sounds like stage three is being planned or set up for Germany. And that, if you look at that, that can be, let's third world country stuff. It's like, well, go to a public place to warm up before you go home, because your home's going to be freezing cold. uh that's kind of what the stage is. So you can have it, like, you can look at it that way. Okay, let's put another hat on. Let's look at it from another perspective. Well, maybe these turbines really do need maintenance. Now, I don't know the detail of a turbine, but you have jet engines, right? Now, these aren't jet engines, obviously, but the point is that, if a jet engine maintenance is critical on these things, because you're running them at their full capacity, one blade comes off, it implodes, causes a problem. So to get your natural gas around, you have to compress it. So I assume these turbines are moving at significant speeds, significant rotation rates, such that, if you do have a problem, and a blade rips off on that compressor, and it rips out through the pipe with a flammable gas around, this could be a significant issue. So is it possible then that the turbines do need the maintenance? And how would the maintenance work? Normally, it would because you can't see the turbines, right? They're connected to the pipes in the pipes. You can't really see them. So most likely it would be like, hey, every so many years, these turbines need to just be removed, do a full reconditioning and maintenance on them to check all everything. That's typical. That's like what happens on airplane engines and stuff like that. So that could be the case, and it could be that these turbines do actually need the maintenance. They do need to be pulled out because it's their time. However, my counter to that would be, well, why is it all of a sudden that all these turbines need maintenance? It's kind of too convenient, right? So therefore, you can kind of go with your view A, where Putin's playing a game here, and he's really he's trying to. It sounds like he's trying to say, hey, look, I'm not going to cut all the gas. I didn't cut the gas off, and he's got his excuse. He's got two things going on. He's declared force majeure, meaning that that's where you basically say that, hey, I can't deliver on my contracts because of acts of God or things beyond my control, right? So he's already declared that to try to legally get him out of the thing. He's making the excuses. The excuses are that it's technical things, it's compressors that need maintenance, et cetera, et cetera. So he's trying to set that all up so that he's cutting gas flows. Now, if he never cuts the gas flows off, if he leaves it at 20%, it's still mission accomplished. There will not be enough gas in the storage in Europe, in Germany, and they're going to have a really tough winter. And I think it's important to keep in mind that this really tough winter is like, people might be freezing to death in Germany, and that could be pretty shocking to think that that could be happening in supposedly a very powerful first world country. So something to keep in mind. So we'll see where this goes. Just thought that was interesting and surprising that this came up so quick. So now there's a game here. Now, I'll take a third perspective, and a third perspective would be that, at this time, Nord Stream 2 should have been up and running. They were in the process of getting ready to bring that second pipeline online. So is it possible that, and I always do this, and I'm naive for it, but is it possible that they were letting all these turbines just continue to run on Nord Stream 1 because they're like, look, Nord Stream 2, we're going to get that up, and then we're going to shut down Nord Stream 1 or reduce the flows and take all the turbines out and get the maintenance done on them because we'll have the other pipeline running. Who knows? Probably unlikely. I think it's very clear at this point that Putin has got it all under control. He's already won, right? He's already won this battle. Because why? Because why? Like, if you play a game of chess and you find yourself like, oh, and like in the middle of the game, you're 20 moves in and you're like, oh, you start getting really bad choices. But why do you get really bad choices? It's because of the decisions you made early on in the game, right? And now the game is played out, and that's exactly what's happening here, right? The West, Germany in particular, all of the EU. Because remember, the EU, a lot of these countries are really relying on getting gas from Germany, who's getting it from Russia. So all the nonsense that they did has left them so reliable on Russia, who's been saying since the 2014 Maidan coup, right? Since that time, they've been saying pretty directly that they're not happy with expansion, and they're not happy with all this stuff that's going on in Ukraine, NATO. They're not happy with it. They've been very clear that they're not happy with it. So you ignore them, and all of a sudden, this is what pops out. And I'm not saying they're right. Okay, there's a lot of people dying here, and it shouldn't be happening, but it is happening. And therefore, it's because, like, considering it this way, if you go back to, once you realize the tension's there and they're telling you the tension is there, then you should like do everything to crank up the gas flows before this breaks out, right? You should have been like, you know what? Come up with agreements, try to get the maintenance done before this, get the gas flows up, do the storage, do all that beforehand so you're prepared. But no, this is very unfortunately typical in what I'm seeing in Western governments. I'm in the US, and I think we see that. We don't plan. We just have this terrible incompetence in our governments, and we don't plan for anything. And therefore we're very vulnerable because, if you have something that might take 10 years to do, well, okay, we'll get started on it, and then in 5 and 10 years, then you'll have that thing ready that you need. But no, we don't want to do that. We want to turn the switch and have the Green New Deal. Well, it didn't happen, and you would have already had to do much more, and you would have had to make wide decision. I did this research on this, and I'm like, Green New Deal doesn't work. Um, solar and wind, all these, they don't work. The density is so low, it just doesn't replace anything. So there's solutions, but you don't like the solutions. You have to follow the physics. That's how it works. Okay, so I found that kind of interesting, and so it's been a slow motion train wreck here, watching this play out, and now it's like it's happening. I mean, in effect, even if they keep the flows at 20, even if they get in another month or two another turbine in that's been repaired, um, it's done. Russia has effectively turned off the gas. Germany's without the gas. They have to go into emergency lockdown. They're going to have to shut down significant amounts of their industry, and their economy is already destroyed. And Germany is the biggest, strongest economy in the EU. So you destroy Germany's economy, you're destroying the EU. So this is happening right now. It's like you're like watching a train, and the train's speeding into a turn that's on an elevated road of over gas tanks, and you're like, oh my gosh, that train slowing down? It's not slowing down. It's not slowing down. Next thing you know, it goes over there, tips over right onto the tanks, and blows up. And it's happening. It's happening. It's incredibly sad, and it's really about time that us people in the West start voting better, because we just have this incompetence is it's destroying us. This go back to Rome, the fall of Rome and stuff. This is, you've got leaders that are incompetent and making very bad decisions, and they didn't put Europe first, and they haven't accomplished anything. All right, well, that's it for this one. Bye.